Kevin's back by popular demand again. So,
Again?
Yes.
I'm just going to ask Bram if he can hear you, so just
Yeah, can anyone let us know? Can you hear us?
We're actually breaking a couple of rules. We're just having one drink for medicinal purposes,
Yeah.
you know.
Been drinking since 3 days ago.
Last 3 days, yeah. We've been on the bender, yeah.
Yeah.
126.
Yeah.
Carry on, darling.
Yeah.
And anyway, just a quick one. I'm not going to promote it, but
Yeah.
the pubs are opening on the 12th for beer gardens.
All right, I didn't know that. That's good news.
As our family's got a pub. I don't think we'll be opening as a family on the 12th, but we may occasionally, if it's a nice day.
Yeah.
But I know there's a few people who are friends of mine who I'd like to tell you they're opening. I'm pretty sure my great friend Carlo, Stacey from the Dolphin and Betty, by the looks of it, they're going to do theirs outdoor and open. Really good classical Aldi pub. So I'll be going down to have a drink there. And
I'll be coming. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come down and see him.
Yeah.
Great beer, always lovely beers.
Yeah.
Spot on beers. Never, ever, ever a bad pint from Carlo.
Right.
And Carlo was the joint person who called me Dr. Kilty along with you.
Yeah, yeah.
You called me Dr. Kilty the same night. He must have heard you. Went in on the karaoke, he's Dr. Kilty.
Yeah.
Bram's just let us know that the sound's brilliant.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
So we can carry on.
Your Heidi, yes.
Yeah.
So, hello guys. Never mind the chit chat. We get on with the show now. We're having a good night. The police might turn up, maybe so, maybe like last week. But all kidding aside, we've got a great Kev Kilty, one of the best friends I've ever had. Brilliant bloke, a fantastic person to know. I know all his kids. They're like kids, like my sons and daughters type of thing. Lovely people. Known him all my life nearly. So, Kevin, welcome back to the show, mate.
Yeah, cheers, bro. Yeah.
Anytime.
Just a quick one before we go on. I said I'd mention it. Just to a friend who's tuning in, and I believe quite a lot of his friends in Ireland and England are tuning in. My friend Tommy Pickering, he's got a friend who's part of the Racing Buddy Club, and Tommy has a really good friend called Stuart Mellowship, and he's the father of Jay Taylor, and sadly Jay has a form of illness where he's struggling really, really badly. And my son Richard, I'm going to get him to send him a message. Richard's world champion, 3 times European champion, you know, Team GB camp.
Yeah.
And he's going to send Jay a message and Stuart, but also a little bit of a present because they're into the horse racing. And I asked Tommy last night who was the best jockey ever, even though I'm not greatly into it. He did say it was Tony McCoy, the great jump jockey, best ever in the world.
Yeah.
AP McCoy.
Yeah.
So for Stuart and for you know, his son Jay, there's a little invitation for you. My friend Ben O'Connor, who does great theme nights with audiences, is doing one with AP McCoy in the next coming months. And there's an invitation for Stuart and his son Jay and Tommy as Ben's guest, our guest, to come and be VIPs there. And just a quick one for Jay and his father. There's something very special for you. If you can zoom in, I don't know whether you can see, and it's for yous, you know, with regards from Tommy, and it's a signed photo from the greatest jockey ever.
How good is that?
So this is our best wishes to you from him, and you'll be meeting him if you're available at Ben's up and coming show. Just hope you enjoy that, Tom. And to Jane Stewart.
Fantastic.
Also, Bri,
Yeah,
if I can ask a little request as well.
Just call it the Kev Kilty show.
Yes. Would you be able to send them a sample?
Yes, of course.
Photos
That'll be on its way. There's no doubt, and I'll send you a poster of me. The book's going to be there. It's the Taxman at Teesside. It's in the shops, but we're selling it. We're selling it now from home. If you want to get it, you can contact us on Facebook or on the YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're over 5,130 or something now. It's going up and up and up, helping people with mental health. Doing really well there. Also, the original book, the true story of me, the taxman, the real taxman. not the Chancellor of the Exchequer, 11 Downing Street, Brian Cockrell, Legal Barber. So that's there. We've got that to sell as well. Can be signed, autographed, and anything you want to write, then it's sent straight out to you. So we can deliver it if it's local. Yeah, and so also was it Fight 100? We'd like to promote them for people to join them, to subscribe. It's absolutely going to be brilliant. New boxing federation.
The link will be underneath this video.
Yeah, afterwards you can join there. But it's done by some brilliant people out there. My friend Dave and Joey and all the lads who were involved. It was the Irish lad.
Yeah. I'll tell you where we're at. We'll give 2 seconds.
And
Kevin's son-in-law's book.
Yeah, we've got a book from Bram,
the Stockton Strangler.
I'll send that to you as well, mate. So
no,
a great read as well, you know.
Yeah, I'm saying you can get the copies of that.
Bram's probably,
send that to you if you need contact
even though he's my son-in-law, he's probably the greatest martial arts trainer around the north of England ever. Trained all over the world,
everywhere.
expert in psychology.
Absolutely
and
brilliant.
So is his great wife, my daughter, Heidi, who I like to sometimes think I credit her through my genetics of speed. And her mum claims she has a looks, but I tend to think my daughter Heidi has a look of the kilties. But she's also a great athlete, psychologist,
lovely,
excellent in martial arts,
lovely person,
and more so a great mother.
Yeah, she's a great Christine as well. Us. She helps people. She does food parcels for people who've got nothing every Christmas. She's brilliant, and Bram's the same. So we're all family, us lot. So all our family together. Yeah. So right, Kev, what we're going to talk about?
Just before we talk, there's just a couple of quick things I wanted to mention. One was today through text I was chatting to Brian Graham's brother,
right?
Brian, John, and Tony.
Yeah, good people.
Really good lads, you know.
Brilliant.
And we were chatting about just on the text about old days, and his father, Dickie Robbo, who was always in denims.
Yeah.
Proper, handsome lad, but rugged looking lad. Looks very much like his sons. Yeah. And I remember talking about the football matches locally on the sidelines when Brian was playing football. I used to play, but a particular time of the way, he was always in denims, and he had this granny look that he could have played a part in a gangster film or a Clint Eastwood film. Yeah. And I remember my dad was a tough gentleman, my dad, scared of no one, and I never heard him compliment many people as being a hard case, but he complimented the great Dickie Robbo as being a hard case. Right. One more thing I'd like to clear up, and it's a dispute between my sister and her long-time friend Pat Solan, Pat Innigan. Many years ago, Pat and Maureen, they idolised David Essex, the great singer. Loved him. And they went to what's going to be open shortly, the Globe in 1975. Stockton. And there's been a big argument to this day, which I think I might be able to correct tonight.
My show.
Pat and Maureen said David Essex was singing I'm Gonna Make You a Star.
Right.
Great song. And he was looking at Maureen, so Maureen says, but actually Pat Solan, Pat Innigan says he was looking at her. Now the dispute is this: I was sat 2 seats away from them, and she still doesn't know.
They were looking at you, weren't they, Kevin?
No, but in front of me, in front of me was 2 great ladies, lasses from Winniebanks, my great friends Tricia James and Anne Rafter, both great looking girls. And Pat and Maureen, I must say, I think he may have been looking at Trish James and Anne Rafter.
Yeah. Could he be looking at you, Kevin? Thinking you're one of the Beatles?
Maybe.
Because he looked like Paul McCartney. Was it Paul McCartney? Paul McCartney was honest to God, but he was younger, his hair and everything. You think there's Paul McCartney there? He was honest to spit.
And at times when, if me and Bri have a drink, sometimes I look like Ben Hill a little bit. Or Jasper Carrot even.
Jasper Carrot.
No, we're going to go back to when we got interrupted today about the time when I was in jail. As I say, I make no bragging about it. No. It was foolish. Some of these kids who were causing trouble now around Trimpton Avenue, it's in the papers tonight, for what they're doing today, yesterday, aggravating people, shotting bricks at the car windows.
Wouldn't have been tolerated.
It wouldn't have been tolerated.
No.
And we got prison for less than that, actually. It went on longer, but we got prison. And going back to them prison days, the first person who alerted me to, then not many people knew about him, Paul Sykes, was a lad called, a really good friend of mine, Harry Lake from Winniebanks. And he was out of prison, Harry, he'd done little bits of prison. And he used to tell me, we didn't know much, we weren't streetwise, about this hard case, Paul Sykes.
From Wakefield,
who I later seen inside, who's got some bad things written about him. Brian knows some stories which may be bad about him. The thing I seen about him, I didn't know all this till then. Apparently he was doing things to lads in cells. Sometime in Durham prison, I'm not sure how you would have got away with that because you were literally banged up all the time. But going back to that, that was how I first heard of this Paul Sykes. And Harry and Sheila, I was speaking to them the other day, actually they're getting a little bit of stick. Some idiots putting some windows through theirs and the pensioners, you know.
Right.
And that would not be tolerated by anyone in Winniebanks. So if there's anyone in Winniebanks listening, literally these people who are doing it, and some of them the people who are doing it from families who are great people. There's no need for it. You don't need to do that, you know. Life's too short for that. And I've made enemies myself in Winniebanks, and I've made a lot of good friends. And if there's anyone I've done anything wrong to, you were big enough to apologise and say, well, I'm sorry. And there's no one there who, if they think I've fell out with them or haven't, I wouldn't like to talk to again. All of the people, if I've had problems with them or whatever, but I was into the habit of helping people. And going back to the crime side, there was one particular time before I go back onto the Durham jail side of it, early 90s, Springfield Road, which was literally a block end, as you know about it. And I didn't proclaim to be an hard case, but I hated bullies. And there was this lad, he was driving up and down on a motorbike, revving up, driving into old age pensioners, lasses with pushing prams, intimidation totally. And it was against the law, but one day I decided a summer's day to make a couple of petrol bombs, you know. If the police would arrest me now, they wouldn't be able to say anything really. But anyway, I've made a couple of petrol bombs. When he came by, shot a petrol bomb at his bike, set him alight, his arm was alight, went over, give him a slap, and he was running up the road, screaming for help with his arm alight. And then you had the great Bill Wales and other pensioners seen him running up the road. He was shouting for water, and they were shouting, give him petrol, the bastard, burn the bastard. See what happens. But I don't, you know, just some people can be nasty. You know, I've probably done the odd thing. You have, Brian, what we regret, you know.
Me? Me?
I know Brian, the odd time was maybe he's set up when there was people on the door who might not want trouble with them, but they look intimidating, the people that get them to chin them and that. But, you know, we all regret that. But going back to the prison side of it, when I was in Durham, one of my the first person to welcome me, which I shouldn't say welcome, because I was lost. I was like a little lamb in there. It was a horrible place, Durham. And not any of you who say, oh, my mate's in, he likes jail, it's not too bad. No. Even with all your tellies and all your PS1s and all that, you want to be home. Freedom is sometimes a much more important than health.
Well, you can go to the toilet when you want, you can eat what you want, you can pop and see your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister. When you're locked in that cage and that door banged, they don't care how big and tough you are. It gives you the fear, doesn't it? Oh,
the fear of it.
You're in an 8-12. It used to be smaller than Durham years ago. It was tiny, like a little railway bunker type of thing. And you're locked in there 23 hours a day, and you have to pee and do number twos in a bucket. And once we were in, the whole place had gastroenteritis. You can imagine the state and stuff. Oh, it's terrible. But you had to slop out in the morning and things like that, and you got out for half an hour a day for exercise. That was it.
And the stench of, you know, of that wing constantly, not just when you were slopping on. Honest, the stench, and there was just 3 toilets to one wing. And you're talking about, I don't know, maybe it's 250, 300 people on the wing. And you can imagine them, you had to queue up behind them with like a baby's potty and empty it in this sink the stench, the embarrassment. And if you had to use the toilet, them days, the toilet door started at your knees, finished at your neck.
You'd sit like this
And
on
you
the
were
toilet.
sat there.
And people
Yeah.
walk by, all right, Brian, they'd be like, oh,
You-
you'd be so, your face would be bright red because you'd be embarrassed because you were trying to do what you do in the toilet. Hi Brian, I hope you have a good mate. And you think,